finally arrived. So I would like to call the meeting to order and welcome all of you, our guests and members. And I think we have one elected in our meeting tonight, and that is Susie Schwartz. Where's Susie? I know she's out there working. She's in the back. She's going to be speaking tonight about Prop 55, so you can kind of follow along on the agenda. Are there any other electeds that maybe I didn't see along the way? We're good? Okay, excellent. Okay, so an announcement that these are the communities that we cover, but just because you don't live in one of those communities doesn't mean that you are not welcome. Of course you're welcome, and you're welcome to be a member of our club. So just an announcement, number 3 on your agenda. This is not a public forum, but it is a limited forum where access is restricted to club members, that's most of you here, and their guests. And we're here to conduct some business. And also a heads up that we do take photos, and other people take photos, and they love to put them online, so you might see yourself out there on somebody else's Facebook or some other publication. So, just some business to take care of. Silence your cell phone. Take home your agenda because it will have valuable phone numbers, websites, QR codes. And at the end, if you see any extra agendas, will you please pick them up and we can recycle those. Okay, so now we are ready for the Pledge of Allegiance. So Judy tonight, or no, there's Walt, I didn't see you. Walt, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Please stand.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Walt. Okay, so in just a minute, we will do the consent calendar, and it includes all of the things under number 5. It includes the agenda that we're going to accept, accepting that we have a quorum. The minutes you can always get from our secretary, Janice Batts, and then you will be accepting this treasury report that you see before you on the screen. So thanks to our fundraising team, thanks to all of you and your membership. Right now, we have nearly $55,000 in our account. We have deposited a little over, yes, definitely applaud, yes. It's excellent. We have deposits of a little over $3,500, and this month our expenses were very, very small. We were coming off the big holiday brunch. We haven't yet jumped into the pool of our field team, which you will hear all about from Louise, so we will be spending all of that. So our balance as of the end of the month was a little over $58,000, all because of the people in this room. Thank you. So I would entertain a motion to accept all of those things on the consent calendar. Okay, so Stacy is entertaining the motion, and we have a second. And who's the second? Kathy. Okay, I didn't see your hat. Thank you. Kathy has made the second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, so my report. I would like to, first of all, thank Suzanne here and thank Louise for making the meeting go so well last time. It involves a lot of work, and so I really appreciate you doing that. Thank you very much. So yes, indeed. So now we have Black History Month, and we have President's Day. So I think we should recognize a few things that are going on, just some, right, of the names. I looked to see how many you know, and I bet a lot of you know all of these names. Aretha Franklin, right? Dr. Dre, Beyonce, musicians. For scientists, Gladys West. Anybody ever heard of Gladys West? Okay, very good. She helped to develop the GPS. So in other words, we can actually thank a woman every time you get in that car and you need to get somewhere. There's a woman directing you and you are listening. Very good. And then we have Lonnie G. Johnson, who was a nuclear engineer and part of the NASA's Galileo project. If you don't recognize his name, I think you would recognize him. He appears a lot of times. Now for writers, who knows Zora Neale Hurston? Yes, she's one of those, their eyes are watching God. I bet your kids or grandkids have read her in school. She kind of got in the canon within the last 20 years. And then contemporary would be Colson Whitehead for the Underground Railroad. And then we have some cultural icons. Baynard Rustin, bet you never heard the name, but how many of you have heard the March on Washington in 1963? Yes, because he was a major player in having that, organizing all of that. And then politicians, Shirley Chisholm, the first Black woman to be elected to U.S. Congress. And we have John Smith. All of you have heard good trouble, right? He's the one that gives us that phrase that we are using a lot now. And then Annie Lee Cooper, she was part of the Selma voting rights movement in 1965. And we cannot forget, I put this together before today, we cannot forget Jesse Jackson, right? An icon who was a civil rights leader, a religious leader, and the list goes on and on and on. Now we can't forget our presidents. So I have a quote here from, yes, there we go. Yep. Our thinking president, he actually thinks, right? I thought that was a good one to put up there. So he said earlier in, about a couple months ago in September of 2025, he said, our democracy is not self-executing. It depends on us, all of us as citizens, regardless of our political affiliation, to stand up and fight for the core values that have made this country the envy of the world. And every person in this room needs to be proud to know that you are actually doing that. You are standing up to make sure that we remain that and remain those leaders. And thank you very much. So though we could go on and on, couldn't we, in terms of all the leaders that have gone before and done some great things. So now, as part of my spiel here, we're going to have two guests, Susie Schwartz and Julie Stowers. And if you look at the agenda, Susie Schwartz, as you all know, because you see her all the time, is a trustee for Saddleback. And Julie Stowers, many of you also know because she's the political action chair for Saddleback Teachers Association. So they're going to talk to you about Prop 55. And while they're coming up here, raise your hand if you have heard of Prop 55 yet, or you have been asked to sign before tonight. Let's put it that way. Okay, good. So that's why we need to do this. So come on up, Susie and Julie. Yeah, be really careful here. Sorry. Okay, so this is Susie and Julie. And people are going to be going around. Okay.
Yeah, we've got a table at the back and it's a petition. This is the bottom line.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me now? Like that? Is that better? Okay. Here's the bottom line. A lot of the law has been on the books for over a decade now. And what it does is it taxes an individual earning over $500,000 and a couple earning over $750,000, and the money goes to our public schools. For Saddleback Valley Unified, it's over $4 million each year. For Capistrano Unified, it's even more. And for Irvine Unified, it's also more. So it is a lot of money that our schools have been receiving for over a decade now, but the law is set to sunset in 2030. So what this proposition does is it would make the law permanent. So no more having every so many years to go back and try to get it extended again. We need to have this on the ballot, and we need to pass it so it becomes permanent. It's been in existence, like I said, I believe since 2012. So the people in those earning categories, they're used to it by now because it's been going on for quite a long time, and we really need to get it made permanent. So that's what this is about. I'm going to turn it over to Julie, who can talk to you about the petitions, because that's the first step, getting enough signatures and getting it on the ballot.
Okay, so I did want to clarify something. This is not Prop 50. We just passed Prop 50, right? So it's Prop 50. We're calling it the Prop 55 extension, and it will have a different number when it gets on the ballot. And we have CTA has come up with a really long name for it, but I can't even remember that. We have petitions in the back. So it's your exit ticket. I'm a teacher. You have to fill out an exit ticket before you leave. And yep, Terry Soray is holding it up right there. If you can sign it, again, all it is getting it on the ballot, and we need to get a gajillion signatures to get it on the ballot, and then we're gonna need your help to get it passed in November. If you would like to take some ballots, each one, or a signature sheet, each one has a place for 5 signatures. You need to have people from the same county filling it out. So if you have somebody who's not in Orange County, you would want to use a different sheet for them. And then we are collecting them here at your next meeting on March 17th. And I will need to literally drive them up the next day to the CTA office in Orange, because they're going to be counting them and getting them sent in. So we have been trying to get 85% of our CTA members to sign this, which has been a huge thing. And now CTA is paying signature gatherers $10 a signature to gather signatures. So any free ones we can get, that helps us get to the number we need.
And if you know anything about the petition process, I forget how many 100,000 they need to collect, but whatever that number is, they really need to collect 10–15% more than that, because sometimes there's only allowed 1 county on each sheet. So you have to be sure, if you're doing Orange County, that whoever signs it lives in Orange County. If they're friends in LA, then that has to be a separate sheet. And so because of that, when the registrars of voters go through it to verify the signatures, there's going to be a certain number of signatures that just aren't going to be valid. So it's just so critical, and any help you think you might be able to give is very much appreciated, because we need to first get it on the ballot, and then once it's on the ballot, we need to work to pass it. And again, as Julie said, it's Prop 55 was the number of the law currently on the books. Prop 50 was wonderful because it's the one that gave us the new congressional districts in the state of California. So that was a huge effort too. That was just really incredibly done. Again, any help you can give is greatly appreciated. And I'll turn it back over to Janet, unless someone has questions. Thank you very much.
Yes, and if you look on your agenda, you'll see that it is Prop 55, and all the information that you see here is on the agenda in terms of the economic threshold and in terms of the monies for the school district. I want to thank Terry Soray for coming out. She just found out last night. She said, I'll be there to help you guys. So please make sure that you sign before you leave. And if you can, even if you took 1 page, right, it's just 5 signatures. I'm sure you know 5 people, and bring it back next time. Okay, so now we're going to go on. Suzanne, for the vice chair, she's going to kind of wind up things for the pre-endorsement.
Glasses? Yes. Understood. Glasses happen after 50. Okay, so I'd like to give you an update on the Regional Pre-Endorsement Conference and where we stand with our candidates. So we held our regional pre-endorsement conferences on January 17th of this year, and the delegates and club representatives that Canyon Democrats elected electronically voted their support for the Assembly, State Senate, and congressional races in the area in which they live. So these races were Assembly District 71, 72, 74, and Congressional District 40. So the pre-endorsement process is the very first level of the process for the California Democratic Party to endorse candidates. Any candidate who receives more than 70% of that vote will go on to the California Democratic Party Convention endorsement consent calendar, straight pass to the consent calendar. So let's take a look at the results. So for our Assembly District races, all our 3 Assembly District candidates exceeded the 70% threshold. So the results are for 8071, JJ Galvez with a 98% vote. Assembly District 72, Chris Kluwe, 98%, and Assembly District 74, Sergio Farias with 95%. So congratulations to all 3 candidates. They are now placed on the consent calendar to be endorsed by the party. There's always a but, pending no successful effort to pull them from consent, but we do expect that if CDP ratifies the consent calendar, then CADEM endorses them. So I also want to quickly give a shout out to both our program committee and our recruitment chair, who have been working very hard to bring our candidates before you so that you have access to them and can get to know them and their platform. So Chris Kluwe was brought to you by our program committee in June 2025. Thank you, Ted Pearl. Thank you, Justine White. And JJ Galvez was brought to you in November by our recruitment chair. Thank you very much, Judy Fike. So as you can see, Canyon Democrats is really an integrated group of people that work together to do great things for us. And as you can see with the Assembly District, we had great results. So thank you very much for all that you do. You're helping us elect local candidates. Let's take a look at our Congressional District Race 40. Of our 3 Congressional District 40 candidates, no one exceeded the 70% hurdle. The results are as follows. Lisa Ramirez had 65%, Esther Kim Verrett had 15%, and Joe Kerr had 14%. What does that mean? None of them exceeded that 70% hurdle. They don't get to pass go immediately. So now all 3 candidates, not just one, but all 3 candidates will move forward to the convention caucus in San Francisco this weekend, where the delegates will vote their support. Simplifying the rules somewhat, because nothing is easy, and there are quite a few interesting rules. But the bottom line is the threshold of support is 60% of voting support. Any candidate who gets 60% or more is placed on the consent calendar. If none of these candidates receive 60%, the race is considered no consensus. When we get to the full consent calendar, it is then voted on for approval. So we have the California Democratic Party Conference this weekend. Many of us will be going to it, and we will be excited to bring to you the results of the voting. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have some people in this room that are going to convention. If you are, will you please stand up? Okay, so if you are sitting down, take note of these people. These people will be voting on your behalf this weekend. If you have a particular bent towards one of the 3 candidates, you should definitely kind of step aside and give them your opinion. And they are unbound. They are free to vote their conscience, but I'm sure they would be more than happy to hear what you might have to say. And thank you to all of you for not only spending your time, spending your money. A lot of these people, you know, they go on their own dime. There isn't any big budget in the sky where the Democratic Party goes, here's your plane ticket, here's your hotel. So that's always a little caveat that we don't talk about. So thank you to all of you for doing that. Okay, now we have candidate recruitment, and up that will be Judy, and Cindy's going to come up as well, Cynthia. So we have lots going on here to talk about.
Good evening, everybody. I'm glad to see all of you here. I am the candidate recruiter, and I am very happy to report that I have been very busy because there are a lot of people stepping up and showing interest in running for city council, for Superior Court, for Assembly. So, and it's still kind of early, so I'm hoping we can get some more folks. Could you put the map of Mission Vale? I sent that to you. Okay, never mind, problem. Okay, so I just want all of you to be aware that in Mission Viejo, how many of you people live in Mission Viejo? Okay, I'm coming after you folks because every single city council position is up for re-election, all 5 of them. Some of the people are terming out: Wendy Bucknam, Trish Kelly, Brian Goodell. Up for re-election is Bob Reish, and then our guest, Cynthia Vasquez. And I just want to say that I think Cynthia is the only Democrat to have served on the city council ever, I think, or at least in recent memory. And she's the first Latina. And it has not been easy for her. She's like a salmon swimming upstream, and her fellow city council members are not always very nice to her. Sometimes when I read the accounts, I think, this sounds like middle school. I have grandchildren in middle school, and sometimes the behavior is deplorable. So Cynthia had some slides. I don't know what we're going to do about that, but I guess you're just going to come up. I'm sorry, Cynthia. Can we give her bigger applause than that, please? She's a very, very courageous lady. All you Mission Viejo people, I hope you will support her through donations, or you're gonna canvass for her and coordinate with the field team, because believe me, the other 4 people I think are gunning for her. And so please help her keep her position. Plug what in? Oh, can she plug it in?
You can try, I don't know if
Go for it.
if you can do it. I'm,
So it will be that thing, I think. Yeah. Okay. I think you're gonna need the microphone. Oh, that's nice.
no, that's Amy Stephen, yes, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know, yeah.
Bummer. Well, I mean, try this. And then
Oh, that's the clip. Well, because I could always just, you know,
you have answer you.
yeah.
And then you don't need that.
Oh, duh.
Actually, yes, you do.
Oh, you still need that because that's USB-C.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think. Is that, I don't think slides on the map. I don't know how to get your files on a Mac. I don't have it, right? Yeah. All right. Yep. Okay. Well, we tried. There we go. Yay! Hold on. Wait, what happened? So excited. Well, there was okay. Okay, so how do I do the thingy? Okay, I need to use it.
Which you right where it says open with Microsoft PowerPoint.
How about that? Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and I think you have to push hard. There you go.
Okay. Okay, cool. Great.
There you go.
Okay. Yay! Woo. All right. Let's see. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so I put together some slides because I figured it would be a little bit easier to have a discussion. I was asked to basically give you a sort of high-level overview on what you do as a city council member. And also, oh, sorry, and also just a bit of information on if you are planning on running for any sort of local or any sort of position, that there's a few things that I put together to keep in mind, and then also other ways that you can support these candidates. So let's see, here we go. So for this, you don't have to be an elected official to make an impact. There are a variety of ways that you can get involved, and we'll cover that in just a minute. So I often get asked the question, what do you actually do as a city council member, right? Because you elect these people and they show up for these meetings, but then after that, you're not really sure what happens. So again, high level overview, we set local policies, priorities, talking about different budget items. We have a biannual budget here in the city of Mission Viejo, which means that we go over our budget every 2 years. However, that does not mean that we never talk about money during that time. We will have, different discussions throughout the year, throughout both years, and make adjustments accordingly. And let's see, we also oversee things like city services, whether that's having to do with community events or just dealing with law enforcement or fire department or whatever it is. Also, obviously, listening to community members and hearing what their concerns are, and responding, of course. And then we also do regional collaboration. And what that means is we collaborate, let's say, with the Orange County Board of Supervisors or the State Assembly, State Senate, or other cities for that matter. So for example, we have agreements with different cities here in South Orange County for, let's say, our Animal Services Department. And of course, there's always dialogue with residents, the back and forth communications, and just sort of engaging with them and really trying to get their input. And of course, there's always planning for the future. And on the right are just a lot of topics that generally come up, whether it's for infrastructure maintenance, and that will have to do with, let's say, parks or different events that are held throughout the city. Public safety and preparedness, whether that's, like for emergency services or other types of public safety that are more every day. So for example, we have a stoplight synchronization project that is, we've received all the funding for it, so it's now underway, and we're working on that to adjust the timing along the entire stretch of Marguerite Parkway. Yeah, and so that's always a thing. And so, of course, having discussions about the housing element and other state mandates, and of course, as we mentioned, traffic, and trying to mitigate that the best we can. And of course, all while preserving the quality of life here in Mission Viejo. So as far as running for office, let's see. So for me, I think that the most important thing if you choose to run for public office is to knock on doors. I cannot express to you how important knocking on doors is. It's great when you get things in the mail or you get things on your porch, but having that one-on-one interaction, there's really nothing else like it. And whether it's the candidate at the door or it's a volunteer that's helping to door knock, that's there on their behalf, I mean, it's very helpful. Let's see, and of course, asking for donations. That is a big one, because what we have to remember is that these campaigns should not be they should be community funded, not self-funded. It's because if you think about it, right? I mean, why is that person running? They're running, I hope, to make the community a better place, right? So that's why I say community funded rather than self-funded. And public speaking, practice, practice, practice. It's not the easiest thing to do. And of course, with being prepared to share your story and being able to convey whatever your message is in a very clear, simple way. I find that fewer words is better. And let's see, building your network and, asking people for help, really, right? Whether it's other community leaders or it's seeking out potential volunteers or just mentors, right? People that have done this before you. And then, of course, learning the issues. Now, I know in some ways that can be a little bit challenging initially, but once you start digging in, there's really a lot of stuff to find. And it also can be very candidate specific as far as what people find that speaks to them. So that's sort of the other important thing, is to find those issues that that are important to you, but you find that are also important to other people in the community. And of course, focusing on what you will do rather than focusing on the other candidate, right? Because at the end of the day, people want to know what you're going to do to help them, right? How you're going to improve or enhance their lives. That's what they want to know. So it's really important to try and keep that in mind. And of course, there's always social media. And that one, I just say, keep it simple, not complicated, fewer words on a page like that. I don't know. I think is just a little bit easier to follow. And then as far as soft skills go, be ready to do things that are uncomfortable. And when I say that, I mean getting out of your comfort zone, right? Because it's not the easiest thing to call up a friend or a stranger and ask them for money or knock on somebody's door. You never know who's on the other side. I mean, it really is putting yourself out there. It really is sort of puts you in a very vulnerable position, but it's one of those things that people also need to see that. People need to see you. And of course, there's active listening and making sure that you ask questions. I know that I've been guilty of this, that you're having a conversation and they say something, you're like, ooh, and then it's almost like you stop listening and you're waiting for your turn to cut in, right? So, trying to curb that the best that you can and continue to listen and continue to ask questions, so that, because in the end, people want to be heard, right? It's really something that in this job, you're not always going to be able to get the person the answer that they want, but if you've listened to them, that goes a long way. And and you're being true to them and true to yourself, as far as being yourself, which is also here on the slide, because people know when you are being fake. People have whether it's your spidey sense or whatever you want to call it, people know. And so I'll skip back up to resilience. It's important to do your best to handle criticism gracefully, as public life, whether you like it or not, comes with a lot of feedback, positive and negative. And then of course it's, be brave. And when I was running in 2022, what I would try and tell myself is, sometimes when I wasn't so sure, I would say, you know what, if these guys can do it, so can I. So, and that was really one of the things that helped me, because, to me, I just think, why not you, right? I mean, I was, still just like everyone else, and decided, you know what, I want to do this. I think that I can make a difference, and I went for it. So it's just a matter of, sometimes you just have to plug your nose and jump. And if you're not running, you can still make an impact. And it's funny, when I was making this list, you start with a blank piece of paper, and then you just start writing, and you keep getting more ideas. And so that was actually kind of fun putting these together. But, one of the things can really make an impact is to speak up during public comments. So before each agenda item, there's an opportunity for public comments, and everyone in the city of Mission Viejo has 3 minutes to basically say whatever they want about that particular issue. If you want to speak about anything under the sun, then you do that in the beginning, like around the consent calendar time. But in any case, it really does make a difference. Your voice does matter, and there's strength in numbers. So that's also really important to remember. There's always an option to email your comments in, but the only issue, unless there are a lot of people writing in, there's a chance your comments may get sort of lost in the shuffle. So just an FYI. And again, if you're not running, donate. And that can mean a lot of different things. So for example, you could make some sort of like an in-kind donation, right? Whether it's like goods or services or other kinds of things that you're able to provide. Let's say someone is going to have a meet and greet or some other type of fundraising event. You could donate food, you could donate, I don't know, supplies or whatever it is. So there's a lot of things that you can do. It's not just a monetary donation. Those are great, but everybody's situation is different, and there's always a way that people can find a way to donate something, even if it's, volunteering their time, which is tremendous. Because when you have, thousands of doors to knock on, it's really helpful when you have volunteers to help you do that. And so it's also really great when people remember the local candidates. I mean, it's great to have, we have the larger races, but local is where it starts. And that's also where you see the greatest impact. And also the option to write to your local officials, or even, other offices as well. I find that being as concise as possible and not attacking I have found to be sort of the best path, primarily because the second you attack, people shut down. So I've definitely have seen a pattern there. And just doing any sort of community organizing and advocacy, supporting voter engagement and registration and education. And when I say that, I mean, it's not just about getting people to register to vote. Yes, that's very important. But what about all those people that are registered to vote, but don't actually go and vote, right? Yeah. Those are the people that we need to reach. And it could be in part because they're not informed about certain things. So that's something that we can all help with and just say, hey, did you know about X issue? Or did you hear about what's happening in our city, or whatever it is? And of course, there's always an opportunity to join different boards or committees or neighborhood organizations. And then, of course, again, with soft skills, be willing to do the work. It can get uncomfortable, but you are really making a difference. And then, of course, there's showing up. And of course, there's more than one way to show up. It's more about being reliable and consistent, because your presence matters. And it can be in the form of being in person, whether you are able to attend a city council meeting, or if you're not able to attend, and let's say you watch it later, right? You're still staying engaged. And that's sort of what we want people to continue to do, is to stay engaged. And yes, I know sometimes it's boring, but you'll get to the juicy stuff too. And then of course, tell a friend, right? Build those relationships, talk to your neighbors, ask them if they're aware of what's going on in the city. Because it's amazing that, it's like, I know personally for me, before 2022, I thought our city was doing really great. And not that it's not, but there were certain things I had a problem with. But it wasn't until I had actually a friend of mine that lives here in Mission Viejo contact me, and he said, hey, did you know this was happening? No, I didn't. Let me check that out. And then just getting involved, and whether that's community events or showing up for council meetings, or even just getting, just having some sort of civic curiosity, right? And just, how does this work? How do I do this? Or why is that happening? And just sort of digging a little bit, whether that's contacting a local elected or someone else at the Civic Center, just to see what kind of answers you can get. And of course, it's always important to find issues that are important to you, right? Because that, again, going back to being authentic, if you don't believe in something, it's gonna show. So let's see. And I think that might actually be it. Yes, it is. Oh, thank you very much. I don't know if people have questions.
Did anybody have any questions at this point? Okay, if you could just speak really loudly.
Yep. Correct. If they ask, yes, I do. Because I mean, it's just one of those things. They are asking for a reason, so whether it goes one way or the other, I mean, in the end, we're here to help all residents regardless of party.
Yeah, the question was about the position is nonpartisan, and I think Cynthia does a good job, and I know that we have people on our city council too that for the betterment of where you're going, they really try to deal with the issue rather than whether it's a Republican issue or a Democratic issue, because a lot of the issues that are city issues, let's be honest, they're really not. But sometimes people would want to put her in a box, and I think most candidates try to stay out of the box, especially in the communities we live in. Was there someone else in the back? Yes. Could you speak? We can't hear you.
Oh,
do you have
I do. Oh, yeah, it's on the website. Yeah.
Yeah, the good question that those, if you want to donate, those are some places that you can go. Obviously not the city, you don't have the city
Oh,
one up there
no.
anyway.
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah, those are her personal
Yeah.
donation areas. Yes,
I do. As far as I know, there's currently one person that's also running in District 3. I mean, I don't have a ton of information. He's worked for the city for a long time, and he's getting ready to retire. That's pretty much it.
okay, well, thank you, Cynthia, for coming out tonight and giving us all that wonderful information. Okay, so Justine is going to get us back on our computer here, and we'll kind of carry on. So we're at the end of the first page, so Judy just wants to talk about a couple of other people that are expressing interest now. So do you want to start? Just do the hard, and then we'll.
Okay, so right now, we have two excellent, really good candidates running in Lake Forest. Yay! And, and their names are Amy Stevens. She is in District 4. And Becky King, stand up, Becky, right in the back. She is running in District 2, and they're barreling along and getting all their ducks in a row, and they're going to be ready to go soon. We'll be introducing you and asking you to approve their candidacy. Then in Mission Viejo, we are really hoping we can give Cynthia some help. Laura Lacco is running in District 4, which would be Trish Kelly's seat, but she's termed out. And then Kristen Wilcox has asked to run in District 1. She's going to be running fairly independently of us. I will say more about that campaign as we get a little bit closer.
Yeah, there's always tactics involved, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at the bottom as the chair, I am going to entertain this next motion. And this is upon recommendation of the exec board. We are continuing to donate to campaigns, and we will continue. This is the beginning. We're in the beginning stages. Let's say you voted to give at the last meeting. So on the back as a motion, entertain for JJ Galvez for State Assembly 71, $1,000. Chris Cluey for the 72nd, $1,000. Cynthia Vasquez, which just kind of explained to you kind of where she is on the city council, to get her going for $3,000. Catherine Blakespear, who is an incumbent, who will be coming to speak to us, State Senate 38th, $2,500. And Katrina Foley, who is an incumbent on the Orange County Board of Supervisors, District 5, which encompasses quite a few of us, and that is $2,500. So I'd entertain a motion for those donations. Okay, Heather makes the motion, and do we have a second for it? Oh, okay, enthusiasm, all right, well, such enthusiasm, Laura will second it. So all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Any abstention? Oh, we had one, no. Oh, no, okay, any abstentions? Okay, good to go, thank you. So we're underway. Okay, so now, okay, that was the same thing that was on your agenda. So now we have our committee reports, and we're off to the field team. We've got lots going on our field team. If you are a field team member while Louise is coming up here, will you please raise your hand, because I know a lot of folks are out here. And I apologize for our screen is not going to quite be right now, and I don't know how to do it, so sorry.
Okay, all right. Oh, you didn't use my graphic. Ah, you changed it. Dang, girl. Okay,
I know, I'm sorry, we've been,
Wait a minute, we need to get this fixed.
well,
Yeah.
I-
Wait a
I'm not a techie, that's why. I can't, I can only do my,
No, that's not it. Okay. Let's see.
Click this big green button, little green circle here, that should make it full screen.
Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you,
That's
Justine.
better.
All right, Justine, to the
All right.
rescue again.
First of all, before I do anything else, I want to remember to tell,
Oh,
first of all,
So
before I
much.
forget, I want to be sure and tell you that we have our postcard team here, stand up in the back. There are kits ready for you to take home to write more postcards. Those have a really good impact when we leave them at doors because people see that an individual person has written directly to them. So thank you very much for doing that. We always need plenty of those. Okay, so there are certain steps that we're going through that we're going to be doing. We're still, of course, looking for unregistered voters. Barbara Casillo, where are you, Barbara? Okay, stand up, up. And Barbara is working on that and going out to colleges and places like that. So if you have any ideas that you can help Barbara, please do so. Okay, this spring, we are going to be doing, delivering our famous voter guides, which we have done now for, I think, for about 5 previous elections. So much so that people actually tell us that they were waiting for us to show up with them before they voted. So we're very excited about getting that done. But of course, we can't start even laying out the voter guide until the party gets ready to do the endorsements. So we're waiting at bated breath for that. And then also we are developing a one-page neighborhood flyer to be put on the back of the voter guide that will be unique to each city. So Mission Viejo will have one, Laguna Hills will have one, Lake Forest will have one, RSM will have one. And I hope that the newsletter editors and the community coordinators for the field team are working collaboratively on those. And that process is underway right now. Okay, let's see here. All right, the next thing that we're doing in order to get those voter guides passed out is we are going to be dropping packets at the door that have our postcards, our voter guides, and our neighborhood flyers at every door of a Democrat and or Democrat-leaning no party preference voter. And don't ask me how we figure that out because it's a secret. I don't know it. Actually, I have a pretty good idea, but it's too complicated. Okay, so what we have done is set up a Mobilize link that is in your newsletter, and you can get to it by going to mobilize.us/CanyonDems. And you can sign up for the Mobilize link in the city where you live, and then it will go directly to, like in Rancho Santa Margarita, to Mike Ebell, or to Mission Viejo to Randy Simmons, in Lake Forest to Holly Manja, and to Laguna Hills to Kathy, and in Canyons to Jim and Janice Vance. So they are keeping a list of everybody who's volunteering to do this leaflet distribution, which we will do primarily, maybe if we get all the printing done, we'll start the very end of March, April, and into May, so we get to every door of those Democrats and no party preference voters. So that is really very important, okay? All right, let me see. I gotta see what's coming up next.
Okay, while Louise is looking at that, you'll notice on your agenda, you have phone numbers that you can contact each of the people that she just mentioned
Right.
about walking in those neighborhoods. So take advantage of whatever works
Right.
for you.
So, and if you, go ahead. Well, we'll get that fixed next time. Thank you for calling it to our attention. No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. Okay. One of the things Janet asked me to do was to work on how you find where you live, okay? So it's important to know that the district lines have changed. So CD 47 now includes Lake Forest, and CD 40 has shifted east. And hopefully there's a map coming up here. Aha, it's there. Okay. All right. So Janet asked me to show you how you could find this out. Our county registrar of voters, whose name I forgot, but he was our speaker last time. Right. He has a great website, ocvote.gov/maps-and-GIS. Okay. So you can write that down. And you can use their Find My District tool to look up where you live, and it will tell you which assembly district you're in, which congressional district you're in, which city council district, which school district, which water district, da 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 da. Every one of them is listed for you personally, okay? So you can look that up. But guess what? Come time to vote, you don't have to know that, because your ballot only has the ones that you can vote for, okay? So you can't like make a mistake. So don't worry about it, but if you want to know which district you're in and you want to see, this site also has one where you can look at a map, okay? And I know this map is not very clear. It's not the one from the Registrar of Voters because they don't have it ready yet. But that I've been told by Dave Minn's campaign that this is officially the one the state assembly says is correct. So I feel really good about that, okay? So you can look this up anytime you want. It's interesting, have fun with it. The other thing I want to talk to you about is voter protection. Have you been reading things in the newspaper and hearing things on the television and in your podcasts and so on that the federal government just wants the states to run free and fair elections and they're not worried about it, right? We don't have to worry about this, right? Huh. Yeah, I got a bridge to sell you too. I mean, we have the President of the United States saying he's going to violate the Constitution and take over elections out of the hands of our states. Do you want him to run our voting? No, no. They're going and getting ballots from registrars' offices in Georgia that are 4 years old. Like, what are they going to do with those? Oh, who knows? Maybe they're going to wallpaper one of those gold bathrooms he put in. Okay. I am dead sure that this is going to be one of the toughest years we've had since 1988 in terms of voter protection in California. Okay. I believe it was 1988, the Republican Party hired scruffy-looking security guards to go stand by right in polling places and saying only citizens can vote. You know, like they were like the original ICE agents, okay? And they were intimidating voters. Voters were leaving and not voting, and found out about it. People got there, the sheriff's department came and threw them out, and the Republican Party got sued for it. It cost them over $500,000, okay? Yeah, okay. As a result of that, our state has some of the best voter protection laws in the country, okay? We are going to be recruiting poll watchers, we're going to be training poll watchers, and we're going to have people from our club at those polls so voters know that they're safe and they're fine and they don't have to worry about it, okay? So we're going to be talking to you more about that later. But I don't want to hear anybody saying, well, why doesn't the Democratic Party do thus and such, you know? So I just want you to know we are doing this. It's going to happen, but we are going to need your help.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Just need the clicker. Okay, we're good to go. Yeah.
Okay, for membership, we have 317, yay. And some of you might have had the experience when you checked in today, they said, oh, you need to renew. And so it's one of those things that the new year comes, or we think it automatically rolls over. So if you will please make sure that you renew. We have 548 that need to do that. And the membership committee is going to start contacting people individually to remind them. So it would be helpful if you could go ahead and do that. But we're doing pretty well there. And now we have our speaker, and Ted, are you going to introduce the speaker? Oh, community, that's right, that would be, I'm doing community outreach tonight for Anne. And Anne is doing her outreach in Egypt right now, so it's quite wonderful. So for next month, we are doing Wound Walk, and this is a group that treats wounds of veterans who are experiencing homelessness. So next month when you come, if you will please bring white socks, men's underwear, and $10 separate gift certificates for McDonald's and Jack in the Box. And thank you always to our outreach committee. Is Beth here tonight? I think she was collecting for Anne. Is that right? Okay. Okay, so she collected and off she went. Thank you for doing that tonight. Fundraising. All right, Marty, and I don't know if you're bringing up a sidekick tonight, or you're here on your own, or what we're doing.
Good evening, Canyon Dems and friends. How you doing? Time to wake up. We got a lot of work to do. We got to raise money. It's important. Here's some good news. It's only 258 days until the midterms are over. Yay! I just want to take a minute to talk about why we fundraise, because it was very obvious tonight. We gave money to local candidates. Politics is local. And so we want to raise as much money as we can so we can max out our donations to every single local Democrat who's running for anything, and then have enough left over to send money to wherever anybody else needs it. And so that's why we do fundraising. And we've got really good local candidates, and we have some really stinking incumbents that really need to go away. RSM, you know what I'm talking about. Mission Viejo, you know what I'm talking about. So I want to thank all of you who gave Change for Change. We didn't count it, obviously, because it's just a lot of little coins. We'll take it to one of those things where they do it for you at the credit union, where they do it for free. Because we don't want to lose any money. That's the whole point, is to make the money. Okay, sustaining donors. We have a sustaining donors program for people who are able to give a little more than just their membership. And if you'd like to give us an extra $5 or $10, $100 a month, whatever you can spare, or if you want to write us a one-time check of at least $100, you can be a sustaining donor too. And we're going to have a party for you because we love you and we appreciate everything that you do. It's going to be on May 3rd, so you can save the date. You have to be a sustaining donor, though, by March 31st in order to get an invitation to this special party, okay? And I understand that where we're having it is going to be almost brand new. So it's going to be terrific. And you know, Trump always chickens out, so we're going to have a taco truck. It's going to be so much fun. Okay, so our sustaining donors so far, there are 74 of them as of like the middle of January, so I'm sure it's way more than that now. But we've already raised over $1,000 just in the half of the month of January. This is really good news. It's an easy way to make extra money, and you just sign up once, done. And we appreciate it so much. We're going to throw you a party. Then, last month we did a 50-50, and we were able to collect $200. That's terrific. Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing that. And then we'll let you know next month, what the total for Change for Change was. Our next event will be right here. Oh, wait, oh, we got a prop.
There you go.
Yeehaw! I actually have a dress, I just need to buy boots, but my head's too small for the hat. We have to pass it, maybe. Anyway, we're having a hoedown. We're gonna teach you how to line dance. We got a real lady coming who's an actual line dance instructor. It's gonna be so much fun. And we're gonna be making chili and cornbread for you and having dessert and all kinds of fun stuff. We'll have adult beverages. And so if you're a member of Canyon Dems, it'll be $50. And if you're not a member, it'll be $55. So there's another reason to become a member. Okay, and I believe that is that. Thank you.
Great job, fundraising team. And a reminder about our social media. How many of you saw anything this week on any of these sites at all? Good, so keep checking in and making a comment or doing a thumbs up, whatever to keep them active, right? So for community newsletter, the only thing, Andy is off being very busy. She has to attend, oh, you are, good, I didn't see you come in, good. She has some news about what went down at the last, not this meeting, but the one last month, which was pretty good for all of us.
If anybody's here from Lake Forest, would you please stand up? Oh my goodness, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I want to thank each and every one of you. We stopped the Lake Forest City Council from extending their terms. Thank you. We had 24 people publicly speak at the meeting, and we had 50 people, more than 50 people, write emails. We stopped them. That doesn't happen very often. And we are living in the glory days right now, but we're not done. The next meeting, we tag teamed a resolution that came from Washington State about ICE, a resolution that said they didn't want ICE in their community. We wanted our city to do the same thing. So we had a team of people speak one after the other about the resolution in Washington, and they read it. They read it to our council so they would do the same thing. And tonight we were there and we asked them to do the resolution, to do something. We have to stop this. ICE is moving in Irvine, and we're gonna be Minneapolis. What's their plan? We need a plan here, folks. So that's where we are, and we're moving right along, and I'm so proud of all of you. I thank you so much. It really works, so keep doing it.
Yeah, and the no term limits is something that Lake Forest has, Mission Viejo has, and I know RSM is starting to really put the pressure on because they just keep rotating, right? They just keep going and going and going. So it's a major tool that we need. Okay, so now we have Nicole, who's going to just remind us about the upcoming event. And so this is Nicole, who represents the Young Dems. And how many do you have about now that are coming to your meetings? 20, 25, 30?
Sometimes we have about 40.
Oh, there we go. Whoa.
Yeah, it's been pretty exciting. We've actually feel like we've been growing our membership this year. And for those of you that maybe don't know who we are the Young Canyon Democrats. And we do have a lot of work to do. We are really focused on community outreach. One of the things that we've been doing is actually trying to raise awareness for issues at the city council meetings and trying to get people to go in person and comment. And a couple of us I know were at the Lake Forest and the Mission Viejo recent city council meetings. We are going to be trying to help, of course, this year with local elections, canvassing, door knocking, and we have a happy hour coming up next Thursday, and it's at Mission Ready Brewing Company, which I think was formerly Laguna Beach Brewing Company. So it's in RSM, 6 to 8 o'clock, and information is usually put out in the monthly email newsletters. We're also on mobilize.us/Canyon Dems.
The QR code is on the.
Perfect. QR code is there too. So yeah, spread the word if you know anyone that might be interested in joining, and it's a lot of fun too.
Yes, so there is the QR code too, so you can sign up. And again, please pass the word around to people in your community because it's a nice way of people to get to know each other. So now we're on to programs, and we have a great speaker tonight that is very, well, they've all been timely, but pretty timely for a lot of the rhetoric that's going around. And Ted, if you can come on up and introduce him. Just turn around.
Well, good evening, fellow Democrats. Unfortunately, Donald Trump is still the gift that keeps on giving to us. But there's one gift he hasn't given, and I'll remain silent on that. And I want to thank everybody who sent me best wishes after I had dented the sidewalk in Lake Forest with the back of my head, so thank you. Now, March is up for grabs. The injury did slow me down a bit, but I promise you I will try to have somebody in the pipeline on or before the date of our executive meeting on March 3rd. But tonight, we have somebody who really is doing what John Lewis advocated. He's making good trouble. His name is Jeremy Cohn. He is a former instructor at UCI, taught social work, worked with special needs kids as a teacher for 5 years before that. And he is also the president, which he will tell you, of an organization near and dear to my heart, Americans United for Separation of Church and State here for the Orange County Chapter. He's a fellow, like me, he's a fellow Titan, but he received his master's from UCLA, go Bruins. So with no further ado, I give you Jeremy Cohn.
Thank you, sir. So let me get it set up really quickly and then we will go. And I'm here representing Braver Angels tonight, even though I am the president of Americans United for the Separation of Church and State. I'll just take that. Okay. I'm already up. Great. So, good evening. My name is Jeremy Cohen, and I am here representing Braver Angels, and to give you an overview of our organization, what we do. And I'd like to say thank you to Cynthia. She kind of gave me a great segue because she talked about several of the things I'm going to cover tonight. So, moving on, we're going to be talking about a couple of new initiatives that Braver Angels has put together. Better? Better? Okay. So, first of all, our mission. A building a house united. We inspire and equip Americans to practice courageous citizenship across political differences through skill building, convening, and collaborative action. And then the Braver Angels way. The Braver Angels mission We were founded after the 2016 US presidential election. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to bridging the partisan divide in America. We address increasing political polarization and foster understanding between differing political perspectives. Braver Angels conducts workshops, debates, and events where red, conservatives, and blue, liberal participants engage in structured dialogue to understand each other's positions and discover shared values. Our organization started off with the name Better Angels, which comes from Abraham Lincoln's first inaugural address in 1861, urging divided Americans to appeal to their nobler instincts for unity, and refers to our innate positive qualities like empathy, reason, and self-control that guide us toward cooperation rather than conflict. We changed our name to Braver Angels as our organization promotes courageous citizenship. And to do this work, engaging in difficult discussions requires acts of bravery. So the Braver Angels way, we state our views freely and fully without fear. We treat people who disagree with us with honesty, dignity, and respect. We welcome opportunities to engage those with whom we disagree. We believe all of us have blind spots and none of us are not worth talking to. We seek to disagree accurately, avoiding exaggeration and stereotypes. We look for common ground where it exists, and if possible, find ways to work together. We believe that in disagreements, both sides share and learn. In Braver Angels, neither side is teaching the other or giving feedback on how to think or say things differently. So, Braver Angels' secret sauce: curiosity. No need for conflict. Listen and learn. Relax. No one is trying to convert you. Relax even more. No one needs to think you have to convince someone you are right. Just share your point of view and move on. Focus on better understanding. So why this moment? Well, we'll get there. The moment. This is a defining civic moment, not just for our country, but for Braver Angels. The problem we are responding to, toxic polarization, has become a reflex. Contempt is rewarded, trust is eroding, has eroded, self-government is threatened. The deeper crisis. This is a crisis of human connection. Tribal loyalty dwarfs human dignity, and there is a breakdown of civic practice. Our vision. We envision an America where courageous citizenship is the honored norm, renewing civic culture and building trust across political differences. Actively engaging in human connection across political differences to build together. Choosing courageous citizenship doesn't require you to stop protesting injustice or supporting the actions of those in power you believe are right. It asks for something harder. Do it without closing the book on the humanity of the other side and giving up hope for common ground. To move the strategy forward, we have to understand the current state. Today, we are trapped in a mirror image of anxiety, where many on one side feel a chilling vulnerability, many on the other side feel a long-awaited vindication. Where many are exhausted, others are defiant. One person's despair in many ways has become the foundation of another person's security. The events driving these feelings are not imagined, but the way they are exploited is no accident. The outrage cycle is the easiest way to get a click, but it is also the fastest way to destroy the resilience required for self-government. This is what algorithms do in social media, folks. So, courageous citizenship, what's our role? Well, a do and a do not. Don't take the bait, do the hard work of self-government. But our role, the clarity of our lane, where are we going? What we are and what we are not. We are not here to win arguments or score points. We are here to strengthen civic habits to repair the social fabric of society required for self-government. We do not endorse or oppose political leaders, parties, or specific policy positions. We do advocate for courageous citizenship. We believe in act, not react. How to respond instead of just react to something emotionally. So, what is courageous citizenship? It is the work of self-government. It is actively engaging in human connection across political differences to build together. It's the space between, or I should say, what courageous citizenship means. The space between cowardice and recklessness. You can see cowardice, courage, and reckless. Act, not react. Stay at the table. Build together locally. Embrace a shared American identity. Why are these things so important? Well, think of the Pixar movie Monsters, Inc. For years, the monsters believed that the only way to power their city was through children's screams. Scare them. Well, they figured something out toward the end of the movie. What did they come up with? They came up with, laughter. They found that when, instead of harvesting their screams, that laughter produced 10 times the energy that fear ever could. In today's world, we look at this very, very similarly. Psychologist Dasher Keltner found out one of the most frequently cited sources of awe is the experience of observing courage, integrity, or compassion in unexpected public moments, especially when it crosses cultural or ideological divides. Today, that looks like a Republican defending the dignity of a Democratic neighbor, or a Democrat admitting their one side's mistakes, or both trying to find common ground. These are screams that are turned into laughter. This is not a theory, it is a discipline. Aristotle observed the virtue lives in a golden mean between two extremes. One end is cowardice, withdrawing into silence because the scream economy is too loud. On the other end is recklessness, lashing out to seek total victory at the cost of our humanity. The sweet spot's right in the middle, courage. And so looking at that is very important in the sense of, well, how do I say it nicely? Walk with me, not in cowardice and not in recklessness, but in the quiet, steady courage of those who believe a better America is built. Patiently, deliberately, together through dialogue and really hard work. It's worth doing. Let your actions be awe-inspiring to others. Together, we will build a more resilient, healthier practice of self-government. These are the words of Mari Giles, who's the CEO of Braver Angels, and who I had the pleasure of having dinner with last night. He's here in Southern California to meet with all the leadership here. Since he just became our new CEO, he's doing a tour basically of the entire US, touching base with all of us to see what we need in order to move forward. So he's very active in our organization. So the counterculture of awe. What can be more effective than the rage-bait economy in driving behavior? What will capture attention, touch hearts, and spur positive cultural change? The answer is witnessing unexpected acts of courage in ways counter to existing cultural norms at moments of great intensity. Braver Angels calls this the power of counterculture of awe. Reflect on when you have felt or experienced something awe-inspiring, a triumph of human spirit at the Olympics. Nature's works like the Grand Canyon or the Niagara Falls or redwood trees. Human works like the pyramids or the Hoover Dam. It moves you. It creates a sense of interconnectedness to something bigger than yourself. It inspires. Researchers have discovered that the physical, emotional, and mental experience of awe creates a healthier, longer lasting impact on us than negative emotions. So discord, harmony, unison. Singing the same song but different notes. As our country marks 250 years since its founding, Braver Angels is launching the Civic Scholars Council, a renewed scholars network focused on applied citizen-centered work with real-world civic impact, strengthening civic health and building trust, which calls on communities to reflect on and renew the promise of democracy. Across the nation, people are finding creative ways to engage residents in collective efforts that build trust, strengthen belonging, and shape thriving, responsive communities. This is to bring people together, not divide them apart. So what our strategic plan does, this is our North Star. In practice, courageous citizenship is the choice to step out of the outrage cycle, actively connect with people across differences, and work locally to find constructive ways to heal division and build together. Why a strategic plan now? Braver Angels' strategic plan brings focus and discipline so our work can go further, reach more people, and last. So how are we going to do this? Will skill building, skills workshop, e-courses, volunteer training, depolarization dojo. Dialogue is the engine, skill building is the maintenance. This is where we learn the courage to look inward for the dignity to connect outwardly without contaminating the conversation with contempt. Convening, community gatherings, common ground workshops, debates in town halls, campus forums, alliance groups, and events. This is the heart of dialogue. Every gathering, debate, town hall, and forum is an act of courageous connection. We convene to prove people can stay in respectful relationships necessary for constructive action. Collaborative action, citizen-led solutions, national initiatives. This is why we do the hard work. Collaborative action is the proof courageous citizenship works. We use the connection and trust we forge to build together locally and strengthen our self-governing country in our state or nation. So we have a journey. Personal, act, not react. Community, act together locally. National, act for the health of American society. You wonder why the why is there? Because we're asking you why. That's why we put it there. We did that purposely. Why all these things? Well, the internal dimension, dimensions of courage and citizenship, reclaiming personal agency and courage, very, very important. Now, next, the necessary personal preparation. We empower citizens with the courage to look inward, to set aside assumptions, and to reject cynicism. This is where we foster personal agency and democratic responsibility. Notice we're not partisan in this. Our dimensions of courage and citizenship. Interpersonal connecting through dignity and curiosity. Now, our method for constructive engagement. We actively step across the political divide to engage. This action is grounded in dignity and shared humanity and guided by respectful listening and curiosity. Like was said earlier by Cynthia, active listening. And why is that so important? Because active listening is not just hearing someone and then making a response in your head before they finish talking. It's actually something we teach called LAP skills, in which you actively listen and you let the person say everything before you even start formulating a response. Because if you're thinking about what you're going to respond, you're missing half of what they're saying to you. And so then you misconstrue information, and that becomes a very serious issue. So moving on, dimensions of courage or courageous citizenship, civic. collaborative action, and renewal. What is the civic dimension? We build a dialogue to work side by side locally on shared interests and values. This is essential for experiencing collaborative action that transforms divisions into unity of purpose. Our new initiative is Citizen-Led Solutions, CLS. This initiative advances our mission of courageous citizenship, with citizens being active participants in community problem building, problem solving, with citizens as co-producers versus consumers, catalyze grassroots self-organizing to address local community issues, provide methods and resources to help CLS participants organize community problem solvers. This is citizen-initiated and organized. It is issue-oriented, it involves relationship building, it incorporates diverse stakeholders, it involves collaborative engagement, it requires deliberation, and ultimately, implementation, which can take place at the grassroots level or in conjunction with public policy makers, depending on the nature of the recommendation. What we're talking about is not relying on our politicians to do everything, to give the public the chance to do for themselves. And if we want to bring in the politicians, we have that right. Does this sound familiar? Wasn't this what the Continental Congress did before the United States was an actual country? It was the citizenry who said, hey, we need to take control and we need to make it happen. So this is not unheard of, it's not brand new, it's just looking at our society the way we are right now and looking at grassroots is, what do we need to do to make things really happen in our own communities that benefit the people who live here? So, tired of the political chaos? Courageous citizenship is choosing to be a leader who connects with neighbors and builds when our community needs. Be the one to step across the divide. Courageous citizenship is using curiosity, not contempt, to honor every American and get things done together. Stop the fight, start the fix. Courageous citizenship is the brave, hopeful way to reclaim your power and build a better America with people you disagree with. Stop the fight, don't take the bait, start the fix, do the hard work of democracy. There are three outcomes that we are driving. Over the next 5 years, we are working to inspire a national culture of courageous citizenship, equip people to practice it locally, build the capacity to sustain it. So, what does success look like? A cultural change requires scale. As of today, Braver Angels has 15,000 members. A shared sector goal is to have 15 million Americans inspired. Our goal at Braver Angels is to have 150,000 practicing courageous citizenship. Sounds like a lofty goal, but we've been here since 2017 and we are making progress. So how will we do it? How the strategy comes to life. There are 4 lines of essential effort. Our 4 strategic focus areas for the next 5 years. Our number 1 line of effort, strengthen practice and local delivery systems. Simplified and supported local alliances, member pathways, and offerings as the on-ramps to courageous citizenship. This is why Maury Giles was here the other day, because he's touching base with all of us saying, what do you need at the local level in order to do this? Our second line of effort, build leadership and organizational capacity, people, systems, governance, growth, and discipline and resources. Our third line of effort, advance the narrative and public engagement, telling the story widely, clearly, consistently, and credibly. Our line 4 of effort, strengthen strategic partnerships, scholars, leaders, public officials, courageous citizenship with real-world consequences. When Ted introduced me, he said, I'm the president of Americans United for Separation of Church and State here in Orange County. These are partner organizations. We work together. We have very similar messages, and we realize that together we're stronger. Because one of the things we know By ourselves, we're not a voting bloc. But if we bring together 5 or 6 or 7 organizations, all of a sudden we have 300,000 to 500,000 people. We're now a voting bloc. And now we can actually do something. Because I know you all know what a 501c3 is, but there's also something called a 501c4. These are the groups that can actually do political things, and we can branch those out of our own organizations. We can make a second chapter and do that. Growth begins with retention. We lose too many who want to stay. We will simplify pathways. We will standardize alliance experiences. We will build clarity before we scale. We'll focus on what needs to be done. Freedom within a framework. The plan is about sustainability for people. Clarity replaced overload. Focus replaces fragmentation. What changes? What does not? We're choosing focus. Not everything at once, not everything for everyone, doing fewer things well. Our work remains steady, dignity and dialogue, pluralism and perspective, courage and collaboration. If any of you have ever been on the Braver Angels website, there's like 370 things that you can pick on. It's overwhelming. It'll wear you out. You'll be like, what am I doing here? We need to codify it. We need to make it simple so people don't feel overwhelmed. So that's one of the things we're working on. Our shared role. This only works if we do it together. Staff, volunteers, partners, funders. Let's build what comes next. With courage, with discipline, together. Braver Angels offers a wide variety of trainings and workshops. Many are listed on this slide. Learning how to depolarize from within and learning the effective communication skills associated with LAP provides the foundation for developing successful and meaningful dialogue. You can see all those different workshops that we do. I have conducted all of those as a moderator, and I have seen people come into them very polarized and walk out, and all of a sudden they're like, I just had an aha moment. I didn't realize how polarized I was. You just helped me open my eyes. And I'm looking at them going, I didn't open your eyes. You opened your eyes. I just gave you the vehicle and you took it and you ran with it. So this is what we're doing. We're teaching people communication. We're teaching them how to bridge that divide. Call to action. We live in a time where communication is all but non-existent. People are fearful about stating their views freely and fully. Honesty, dignity, and respect are lacking. Braver Angels believes that fostering communication is the key to bridging the divide, and that through courageous citizenship, we can find common ground and ways to work together, thus creating a more unified society where we all engage in cooperation, civic responsibility, and citizen-led solutions. So now you can see up here, there's a QR code. Sign the Road to Wisdom Pledge and get a free 1-year membership to Braver Angels, America's largest grassroots bipartisan depolarization movement. Stand for respect, dialogue, understanding, and bridging divides. Together we can make a difference. Sign the pledge and get started by pointing your camera at the QR code. Join Braver Angels. So common Braver Angels workshops, depolarizing conversations about race, depolarizing within, family and politics, red-blue workshops, skills for disagreeing better, blue only or red only skills workshops. All I can say again, point at the QR code and you can become a member for free for 1 year. And what literally happens, you guys, is we don't actually charge membership. We take it as a donation. And then we can use it as a 501c or C3, excuse me. So on a similar note, I'm the president of Americans United for Separation of Church and State, Orange County chapter. And if you didn't know this, this is the only chapter on the West Coast of the United States. That's odd. Why isn't there one in Seattle? Why isn't there one in Los Angeles? Why isn't there one in San Francisco? This is Orange County, but we're it. And we really do have nationals' ear. We are a partner organization along with Braver Angels in promoting dialogue and bridging the divides that create polarization in our society. I'm also the Vice President of the Humanist Association of Orange County. And just like Americans United, we are a partner with Braver Angels, and we work together to bridge these divides. And lastly, I put up my contact, Jeremy Cohen, jecohen@braverangels.org. I'm the Orange County Alliance co-chair, the Orange County Alliance moderator, and the Orange County Alliance outreach chair. So once again, thank you all for the privilege of presenting to you this evening.
Thank you, Jeremy. And if you have any questions, Jeremy will be here. We're getting close to being kicked out. But before you leave, will you please sign the Prop 55 petition? Please consider taking one form and bringing it back at our next meeting. And I think that is just about it. No news, Brian? Okay, he was going to give us some news on the election in Texas. So go forth and do your work, and we'll be in communication, right? All right, thank you very much, guys.